Hello everyone, good morning. As you can see here, it's nice and wet and soggy and gross. And if you probably followed the news over last week, I'm sure you've seen about the flooding here in Colorado. And I'm sort of right in the middle of it, unfortunately. It's been very tough, last few days for the entire area, really. I think there are still like 100 or not 100, there's close to 1,000 people across the state that are still unaccounted for. Since the flooding started like Wednesday night, it's a mess. There are very few roads that are actually open going into town. I'm going on one of them now. I'm surprised that traffic isn't too bad, but it's a little bit later in the, it's about mid-morning, so it's not quite too rush hour-y. Sorry, this rain is, or mist or whatever it is pretty crappy. I'm gonna open my visor because it is foggy. So yeah, welcome to Colorado. Like I said, it's been pretty rough. I was lucky. It took a lot of effort over Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to do it, but I was able to keep my basement from flooding. We had our lawn right next to the basement windows was like, oh God, that water just splashed all over me. Our lawn next to the basement windows was like a little lake because there was so much water. But I used like a rake thing to basically push the water off towards the side on the lawns. So I was able to keep our basement from flooding, but I have many friends who were not as fortunate. Many of my friends who go to school with me and stuff, they're having to actually move out of their houses because their basements are flooding, and they have the big issue has been raw sewage backing up into houses. So one of my good friends, he's having to move out of his house because they literally have like a foot of raw sewage in their basement. So it's bad. It's pretty bad. Still, you can see it's still wet out here. It's been crazy. Colorado flooding here. It's been crazy. The big issue now is, of course, a lot of the water has subsided, but over the last couple days I've been able to get out, look at some roads and stuff like that. There are still some roads closed because creeks are still running really high and they're running over the roads and stuff. But a lot of them have opened up now. And I've driven on some of the open up roads, and the big issue now is not the water, but it's just debris. You drive down the roads and half the roads are basically like dirt roads because so much mud and gravel and stuff like that has been deposited on the roads from the water running over it. So it's pretty much, a dirt road, and there's like little rocks and like stumps and stuff like that all over the road. There's one spot out a little way north of here, and I was over there while there was actually water running over the road, and here's a picture right here. It was pretty crazy sight. There's so much water that it was going right over the road, like that, just flowing through the fields, just over the road. And then I went back there a couple days ago. I don't have a picture of this, when it was dried up. The road there, of course, it's like dirt because there's so much gravel and stuff. But then also just on the side of the road against the fence, there's a tree that's been moved there, and debris and logs and rocks and stuff. Because so much, pretty much all the roads in town. Hey, there's some sun coming through. Wow, how about that? Pretty much all the roads into town were turned into rivers, and so stuff was just left everywhere. The mountains were hit very, very hard too. There are some of the towns up in the mountains here that are actually completely cut off from roads. Over the past few days, we have had the National Guard here with their Chinook and Black Hawk helicopters and stuff actually doing air rescues up in the mountains, because so many people live in the canyons and up in those towns, and there's, wow, this voice crack, up in those towns, and there's no way to get to them because the roads are literally destroyed from water. So we've had air rescues going on. Like, it looks like right now they're not able to do it because you can see the ceiling is too low and it's raining. So it's obviously not safe to fly helicopters in this. But they have been up there helping people out. I've looked at some of the pictures, and it really sucks because some of my favorite places, some of my favorite towns to go to, and some of my favorite roads to ride are completely destroyed. Because a lot of them, you know, they're in canyons. They have rivers that go along them, and of course those rivers were running very high, and because those roads were running the rivers were running very high, they completely washed out the road. So they've had some pictures from like helicopters, aerial photographs over these canyons, and the roads are just gone. They're gone from the river washing them out completely. So it sucks because some of my favorite roads are destroyed, but it also sucks because the people that live up there, that live in the canyons or live in those towns up at the top of the canyons, are completely cut off. Completely cut off. And just a lot of the towns are flooded and destroyed. The big issue they're having, I know, in one of them, is that of course there was so much flooding going on that all the roads were flooded. That sucks. But after a day or two, they were starting to have the roads buckle and collapse underneath all the water underground and everything like that. And so they were having to evacuate more people because they were worried about buildings starting to collapse. And we have, in some areas up in the mountains, we have had buildings collapse. And I think right now, last I checked, this was yesterday when I checked, the death toll, official death toll here is like 6 people. But like I said, there's still hundreds unaccounted for. And I think one of those deaths so far, at least, was due to a building collapsing up in a mountain town. So it's been a mess. It's been a mess. It's a really wet commute right now. I really wish I took the car. I really wish I knew I could have taken the car because I thought the traffic would be bad. I would have if I could have, because I'm so wet. So wet. Can you guys still see? I hope you guys can still see. Hopefully the lens is not too covered in rain. Let's see if I can wipe it. Hi guys. Yeah, look at all those cars. I know that the people coming this way, or on the next road over here, the next road going towards the mountains, going west. Oh God. I know that road is closed, so everybody's having to come over from that road to this road. Oh, damn it. I made it so far. Ugh, this is life. For some reason, the university decided to close or open up again today. Even though there's so few roads open and there's so many people displaced. There's one of the creeks right there. You can see it running up over the bike path. There's so many students that are displaced by this storm, but for some reason the university decided to open again today. Even though the public schools here, like the K through 12 schools, are closed today and tomorrow because of all of this. But nope. University is open, so I'm trying to get into campus. I'm so cold. Oh, that was a pothole. Hopefully I can make it, because this is but yeah, that's what it's been like here. It's been pretty hellish. There's so much destruction, so many. They said something like 18,000, 20,000 houses were damaged in some way or another by this. So it's bad. And the big issue now is there's still, here it's not so bad, but there's still massive flood warnings going on because that water is moving east along all the rivers. So now the big issue is the counties that are further east of us, further east of the mountains, all that water is finally getting to them. So they're having horrible flooding now, even though the storm, has mostly passed. Obviously, it's still here. But so yeah, it's been bad. It's been bad. That's pretty much it. I'm almost in here. It's freaking cold. Oh, I am going to be at campus soon though, and I can get off and get inside where hopefully it's warm. Many of the campus buildings are apparently damaged, so we'll see what it's like when we get there. But they decided to open anyway, so anyways, I will cut it for now. So Nostradamus here, trying to not have to scuba dive to school. I am out. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.